So we're going to talk about the fantastic season that the San Francisco Giants are having, and looking at the NL West standings right now, they are at the top of the list. They have an 80-44 record, followed by the Dodgers, the Padres, the Rockies, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So the main focus on this video is: do we think that the Giants are flying under the radar, so to speak? Because a lot of media attention is definitely focused on the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres in the NL West. And granted, there are some fantastic players for both the Dodgers and the Padres that generate a lot of highlights and a lot of excitement for the game of baseball. But Kevin, my question to you is, do you think that the Giants' success this season is flying under the radar?
Necessarily say it's flying under the radar, considering they have the best record in the entire league. In all of MLB, they are about 4 games up on some of the best teams in the division, or should I say in the league. I mean, like Kyle said, 80-44. In the Central, the Brewers are 76-49. The Braves are 68-57. You slide over to the American League, the Rays are 77-48. The White Sox are 72-54, and then the Astros are 73-51. So the San Francisco Giants are actually just completely annihilating baseball. I mean, like their record at home is probably the best record in baseball at home at 42-19, which is just like, are you absolutely kidding me? I'm actually like just making sure that I'm going through this and I'm correct. 40 what? They're doing it on all cylinders. They have the run support, they have the pitching staff, they have the management, and they're just steamrolling teams. The late acquisition of Chris Bryant was great. Obviously, their pitching staff was tough from the very beginning of the season all the way throughout now. And they just have a good team overall. I mean, when you really look at it, the San Francisco Giants are built from head to toe as a World Series competitor. But like Kyle said, bigger marketed teams are overshadowing their success because the Giants just don't really have that big name player that's really in the media, that's really kind of just carrying them into headlines. The Yankees are the Yankees. The Dodgers are the defending World Series champions. The Padres are electric in terms of Fernando Tatis. The White Sox are making their noise and resurgence with Tony La Russa coming out of retirement. It's the Rays are the Rays and Champa Bay is stupidity. You know what I'm saying? But like the Giants are kind of like just kind of chilling, even though they have the best record. No one's really hyping them up. And I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful. You don't have the best record in the league this far into the season for nothing. You don't play in the most competitive division in baseball outside of the AL East for nothing. You know what I mean? Like you have the Padres, the Giants, and you have the Dodgers in the same division. Obviously, I'm a little biased because I'm a Yankee fan, but I mean, when you look at it, you have the Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays at the top within 4 games of each other. Excuse me, within 7 games of all three. You know what I mean? Like from head to toe. And it's just crazy to me. So I think the Giants deserve more kudos. I think that they truthfully and honestly can make a run at this World Series coming up. And I really do believe that they can actually make some noise without having that number one all star super big name. I mean, honestly, like I said, Chris Bryant's probably the biggest name outside of Buster Posey, but Buster Posey's a little on the older side now. But they don't have that MVP candidate. They don't have that guy that really stands out. That like, you know what, that guy can carry them to a championship. They just have a very well-rounded team that plays good baseball and that just knows how to win. And I think that that speaks enough volume in the MLB to have their best record and make some noise when it matters most.
I think to kind of expand on the point that you made about they don't have like a top tier superstar that gets a lot of the headlines or gets a lot of highlights on social media. Like there's some good that goes along with that, but having a well-rounded team from top to bottom is a lot more valuable in my opinion. And when I look at this roster, like when I look at the batting order or just the main guys that you see that are coming up to bat. I mean, Buster Posey has the best hitting average on the team at 314. You got Brandon Crawford at 300, and then you got Donovan Solano, who's third at 277. Now, Brandon Crawford, he has the most home runs on the team. He has 22. Now, he's not getting the shine like someone like Fernando Tatis Jr. or Shohei Ohtani because they're not hitting. He's because Brandon Crawford's not hitting dingers or hitting moonshots every other game. But it's consistency. It's consistency, and it's not just the three guys that I mentioned with Buster Posey, Crawford, and Solano. Even some other guys who are hitting fairly well. You got Wilmer Flores, Lamonte Wade Jr., and Alex Dickerson. Like, these guys, they don't get necessarily the shine that top tier MLB players get, but they come up in big moments for their own team, specifically with the Giants, and they're making plays happen. And not only that, to kind of focus on the pitching as well, you know, there's not a lot of big names here. Outside of Johnny Cueto, it's kind of a who's who when it comes to this pitching rotation. But these guys are playing outstanding baseball from the mound. I mean, Kevin Gausman, he's 12-5 and has a 2.47 ERA. Alex Wood, he's 10-4, but he has a 4.1 ERA. You got Johnny Cueto, who's 7-6, who's probably the household name that a lot of MLB fans know, but he's 7-6 and has a 3.9 ERA. But when you look at the rest of the pitching staff, outside of Alex Wood and Johnny Cueto, there's nobody in the pitching staff who has an ERA higher than 3.5. So the fact that you're getting consistency not only from the hitting side of the team, but you're getting it from the mound as well, which is just amazing. And the fact of the matter is that despite, ESPN and social media are giving a lot of attention to the Dodgers and the Padres, specifically within the NL West, it does leave the Giants in kind of a situation. It's like, we don't deserve any sort of recognition. We don't deserve any sort of respect for what we're doing. We're in by far one of the most competitive divisions in all of baseball, and we're at the top of it. But no, Fernando Tatis hits a dinger to 450 feet deep, or Clayton Kershaw strikes out 12 or 13, and that's what's getting the views. That's what's getting the clicks. But us pulling off, a 10-game stretch where we're 7-3 or 8-2, that doesn't get any shine. That doesn't get any recognition. I can understand to a certain extent why Giants fans may feel a little bit slighted, because this team is performing extremely well. Like you said, they're 42-19 at home. They're 38-23 on the road. That's a fantastic season. And I'm with you. I think this team deserves a little bit more recognition and a little bit more respect than what they're getting from a national media perspective. This team, if they're able to keep it together, this team has the chance to go for a World Series title this year. They have that within them. And it may come to a situation where, from a national perspective, that may not come to fruition until they actually prove it in the playoffs. And I think with the roster that they have assembled here, I think they could make it happen.
I mean, it's all about who gets hot right now in baseball. Obviously, we are 2 weeks away from the final stretch of the season being the final month. October 3rd is the final day of the regular season. We are right there to see what teams are going to be made or broken. Sorry, wrong tenses. The Giants are one of them. The Yankees just won their 10th in a row. The Dodgers are pushing. The Rays are pushing. We are starting to see the cream of the crop come to surface in the MLB, and the Giants are literally at the literal top and are not being talked about. I think they deserve the respect, the recognition, and the kudos, because you don't just get to that point for no reason. You don't get lucky that often. So if they were to go the distance and make a run at a World Series, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, who would have thought? No, I'm not. They're going to be the number one seed in the NL West, or should I say in the NL, if they hold this off for the rest of the season. It's going to be them or the Dodgers. They're literally 2 games behind each other, or a game and a half. Mm-hmm. So you're literally sitting here and you're just like, well, this is a great race. The AL East is a great race. And you just have 2 conferences of 2 teams going at it. And we're literally paying attention more so to one than the league's best 2 teams. I think that's ridiculous. And we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, it's like I said, I do think that this team, as long as they don't deal with injuries in the last quarter of the season or going into the playoffs, I think this team realistically has a shot to win a World Series title. They've proven it throughout the regular season. Once it gets to the playoffs, it's a different story, but I think this team definitely has a shot. They play their cards right.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they have a thing about winning it in odd years. They won three in like I think 7 years or something like that. Like it was really weird. They won like every odd year. I don't know. In like the last decade in their three World Series, every year they won was an odd year.
Well, it would
2021, another
it
odd
would
year.
yeah, it would be fitting. So they gotta, I guess, stay with the trend, even though it's kind of been a minute since they've won a World Series title. But I mean, they've had pretty solid success the last decade or so. And I mean, they're off to a very good start to start the new decade. Just, we're going to have to see what comes of it going into this postseason run that they're going to be on. And
Yeah, we
they
got to
already,
see how they clap it off.
yeah, exactly. And, the way that I see it, they're definitely a favorite in my book.
100%.
But, with that said, you guys, that'll wrap up the topic that we have. We just want to thank you guys for tuning in to watch the video. If you guys like the video, hit that like button below. And if you guys want to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, hit that subscribe button below. Any sort of support that we can get for the channel, Kevin and I definitely appreciate it. We still may come up with another topic. Kevin and I are kind of discussing that. So we'll kind of figure that out. But Kevin, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we wrap this up?
No, sir. Just excitement for Major League Baseball's playoffs, the NFL season to begin, and obviously, once all that comes to fruition, that means basketball is right upon us once baseball starts or once baseball comes to the end.
Yeah, but this is literally, we're getting into the home stretch of baseball, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch it all play out in the next month or
Oh
so.
yeah.
But like I said, you guys, just thank you guys for tuning in to watch the video, and we will see you guys later.